Alright, Jungle, I'm gonna make a video to respond to some of your comments that you recently sent me. Start off with, you keep talking about the appeal to authority, and you seem to think that every appeal to authority is a fallacy. By definition, not every appeal to authority is a fallacy. But if you want to discuss things on a level where there's no appeal to any kind of authority, that's fine. But then you turn around and you make a comment that says, we know the recent history of the Earth with a global flood that buried everything living on Earth, including all life forms such as dinosaurs 5,000 years ago. Who's we? That's an appeal to authority right there. Who is the we in this? And no, we don't know. There's no evidence that there was a global flood. There's absolutely, when you were asked for it, you didn't present any evidence. The geology doesn't agree with you. There's no evidence of it. If you think there's evidence of a global flood, present it. Don't just make comments like this that are meaningless. This is a meaningless comment. Obviously, we don't know it if people disagree. So and again, who is this we we're talking about, and how is this not an appeal to authority that you find so disgusting? You wrote, life forms can't make themselves. Yes, they can. It's called procreation. They do it all the time. Life forms create themselves all the time. This is a BS argument all the way around. And then you say the point is that you don't know the point is that you don't know there was billions of years. I don't know because I haven't done the research. But the people in the field, and this is an appeal to authority, the people in the field who are experts are the ones that saying there is. They have the education, they have the credentials, they have everything that makes them experts in the field. They've done the math, and they will tell you it's an estimation. But I'm sure it's a lot closer than the 5,000 to 10,000 years you think it is. I mean, if you just look at the fact of the closest quasar and the speed of light, which I know, you think a photon can travel across the universe in no time because you don't understand science and you can't understand when somebody clearly tells you something. Then you say, when you take away expanded time, there is no time, except only actual known history. Well, here was my point, which you obviously missed. You keep talking about this expanded time, and we live in this expanded time. And then you talk about this known history, which is, you're talking about recorded human history, which dates back of 5,000 to 10,000 years. But it's the same expanded time. If you're saying we can't measure it, we can't trust it enough to measure it, to figure out how old the universe is, then how can we trust this is accurate? Just because we have 10,000 years of history, to a photon, there's no time. The universe isn't even a second old. So, you're really far off the page on a lot of this stuff, and you don't even realize how screwed up you are in the way that you're thinking about these things. Then you say, I know the universe was made by a maker because it consists of programmed elements that cannot make or program themselves. That's an illogical argument. You've got so much stuff here in this claim that you need to prove it's true to even start making a claim like this. But you just jump right to the conclusion. This is your conclusion based on, and I asked you based on what, and it's based on the argument. So, basically you have no basis for the claim that you're making. And I've been telling you that over and over again. The evidence is of having a maker because working mechanisms never make themselves. And actually, we discussed this when we were talking about DNA. And that's how life works, is it basically recreates itself. through procreation. So, again, this is an argument you're making, a claim you're making. When you're asked for the evidence, you just go back and say, well, the claim proves itself. Well, no, it doesn't. That's been my point this whole time. You make claims, and then when you're asked to prove it, you go, oh, well, the proof is the claim itself. No, it's not. And making another claim to try and prove it that you haven't proven valid is also not evidence to support it. And then you say, again, you are the one unable to prove objects made you. I've never claimed that. I've never claimed objects made me. You're forcing that claim down my throat because you only see two possibilities, and that is a maker did it or objects did it. And the truth is, when it comes to the universe, there's actually theories out there that point to a universe from nothing. Yeah, you know, that's science, but it's irrelevant. If we're going to talk you and me, I'm saying, and this is a claim I've made, I don't know. I don't have the answer. I don't know how the universe began, and I don't know how life began. But you have made a claim as how they do. And then when asked to prove your claim valid, you turn around and go, well, you have to prove objects made us, or my claim is automatically valid. That's not how it works. That's not how you get to do the argument. You make a claim, you prove it. My claim is, I don't know. I'm talking to you because you claim to know, but when asked to prove it, you can't do it. When asked to show that your claim is valid, the only claim you have is, well, you can't prove the opposite is wrong. That's an ignorant claim. Most of your arguments are from ignorance all the way through, and when it's pointed out to you, you just go back to the argument. You just keep making the same ignorant arguments over and over again. You're incapable of proving any of this stuff valid. Then you said, the programmable programmed elements inside of you prove you have an all-powerful maker able to make the elements programmable and able to program themselves. Really? The sentence itself makes no sense whatsoever. But you're saying that there's this programmed elements, and somehow that proves it. Well, how does that prove it? Show me the programmable elements, and then show me the proof that links it to the maker. That's what you have to do. And when asked to do that, you can't do it. The truth is, and I'm more than willing to not appeal to authority, but you can't either. If you're going to say that nobody can appeal to authority, then you can't do it yourself. So I'm telling you, from my standpoint, from where I sit right now, I don't have an answer. Now, is that your claim? Or are you going to keep claiming the same crap you've been claiming all this time? I'm sure you'll go right back to the crap arguments. But it just proves, just plain and simple, that you don't have a leg to stand on. You have no evidence to support any of the beliefs you have. You've made up this science, that terminology that means nothing, and you've tried to wrap it around your beliefs so it makes sense. It's ignorant all the way around. And it makes you really, honestly, it makes theists look stupid when people like you do this kind of thing. And other theists should be on here telling you that you're wrong. Not that it matters, because that would be an appeal to authority. But I'm just simply saying, you know, I want the evidence. And that's what I've asked you for the entire time. And every time I ask you for evidence, you give me more claims. You've made literally 20, 30 claims and not validated one of them. You just make a new claim to try and validate it. You might as well just go, it's because I say it is. Because that's basically what you've done. But anyway, I've ranted enough. I've tried to answer your comments the best I could. Obviously you weren't understanding written text, so I just decided to do it this way from now on. So, I'm done.